Game of Thrones has captivated audiences and become one of the most popular television series. As most of you know, the series was adapted from the book series A Song of Ice and Fire, written by George R.R. Martin. This means that the show is slightly different, and there are certain things that need to be cut or added in order for the show to flow smoothly. There are plenty of scenes that we haven't seen before. Check out this compilation of deleted scenes we made for you. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our notification squad to stay up to date with other content from our channel. And can you guess which movies these emojis are referencing? Figure out shortly following this video. Now, let's get the show on the road. Tormund eating chicken. It is worth remembering that changes are necessary when adapting a television show, and Game of Thrones is no different. When things get cut, it is understandable, but sometimes we are left a little upset. George R.R. Martin is pretty notorious for painting vivid image of his beloved characters. When we meet Tormund Giantsbane for the first time in the book, we get a solid picture of what he is like. In this extended scene, we get a more accurate look at him, such as we did in the book. Tormund is sitting by a fire enjoying a hen off a skewer. Unfortunately, we don't get to see grease running down his chin, and the actor who plays doesn't have a white beard. But you can't have everything. Tormund Giantsbane is a legendary wildling leader who is a big supporter of Mance Rayder. He is a formidable warrior and eventually warms up to Jon Snow in the Night's Watch. In the show, we now see him holding the torch for Brienne of Tarth, and it is possible we will see some sparks between the characters at some point. Ser Loras Tyrell mourns Renly Baratheon. Ser Loras' character isn't one of the normal fan favorites, but he does have an interesting storyline within Westeros. One scene we never got to see is where he is mourning Renly Baratheon and his sister Margaery Tyrell comes to bring him some food. In the scene, Margaery is trying to get her brother to move on with his life because they must think of their family with the whole country at war. Loras is grief-stricken because he believes he is the reason that Renly died. He thinks he was the one that put the idea in his head to be king that would sit on the Iron Throne and can't deal with his loss. Margaery tries to console Loras, saying that she thinks Renly thought of being king without him bringing it up. Loras, being Loras, still puts the blame all on himself, saying Renly died because of him. Margaery uses her quick wit and says that Renly died because someone put a sword through him. Touché, Margaery. A lot was at stake for House Tyrell, and Margaery does her best to get her brother's head in the right place, basically telling him to man up. However, it's not always that easy when you've just lost someone very dear to you. Petyr Baelish, words with Varys. Petyr Baelish is one character that doesn't sit well with a lot of people. He is cunning, manipulative, and always has motives of his own to get ahead in the world of Westeros. Now, while Varys isn't as creepy as Baelish, the two share a lot of resemblances with one another. If you don't remember who Varys is, he is the bald eunuch that now serves Daenerys Targaryen. When the pair clash in the beginning of the show, you didn't know which one to trust more. A scene we never got to see was a throne room conversation between the two. They are discussing which mutilated brothers had the worst luck. It was between Sandor Clegane, the Hound, Tyrion Lannister, the Imp, or the eunuch, Varys himself. Baelish said that no one had seen the Imp's face yet, but his money was on Varys. No one would expect anything less from Littlefinger. This isn't the first time that Varys and Baelish have had a conversation between the two of them in the throne room. The two have each thwarted each other's plans and both have some sort of distaste for one another. It is always a treat seeing these two together. Small council meeting. Talk of wildlings. People to the south of the Wall are so engrossed with their own agendas that they could almost care less what is happening in the north and beyond the Wall. Although by the time the show is finished, most of the petty things they are worried about will be meaningless, seeing as how the White Walkers are on the march to destroy all of Westeros. The scene shows the cold, seemingly cool Tywin Lannister at a small council meeting suggesting a meeting and deal with Mance Rayder, the leader of the wildlings, the free folk who live beyond the Wall. It really sheds light on how naive Tywin is. Tywin, with his large ego, thought he could actually make a deal with Mance, the king beyond the Wall. If you didn't know, Mance Rayder was once a noted ranger of the Night's Watch. He was born a wildling and was proud that he had wildling blood in his veins. He eventually abandoned his vows and rose to become king beyond the Wall. He was well respected among the wildlings, especially since about half of them wanted to massacre the other half. He was able to unite all of them, and he became well respected. Shae, break up with Tyrion. Shae and Tyrion had a beautiful relationship together, but it did not work out in the end after Tyrion was forced to marry Sansa Stark. Shae would become her handmaiden so she could remain close to Tyrion, but Shae was very jealous of their marriage. Fearing for her safety, Tyrion sends her away and insults her in the process. Bronn the Sellsword, who has pledged his allegiance to Tyrion, goes down and tells Shae the truth in a deleted scene we will show you. It's nice to have someone like Bronn in your life. He can sing, joke, and kill just about anyone who gets within reach. He is also really good at helping someone through a messy breakup. What a guy! He is one of the most interesting characters in Westeros, and the relationship between him and Tyrion is awesome to see on screen. In case you don't remember, Bronn came to prominence when he fights for Tyrion in his trial by combat in the Eyrie. He then subsequently becomes Tyrion's bodyguard and enforcer. He is rewarded with a knighthood after his role in the Battle of Blackwater and takes on the name Sir Bronn of the Blackwater. What's your take on Bronn? Tywin Lannister enjoys fishing. Fishing is probably the last thing you'd think that Tywin Lannister likes to do as a hobby. He is still killing something, but at least they're not humans. In this deleted scene, it does show a little foreshadowing, seeing as how House Tully was the next to fall, and the fish is used as their sigil. As you know, Tywin dealt with that family in a brutal way. In this scene, we also get to see Grand Maester Pycelle not be such an old codger and reveal he is still wily and clever. Both of the actors do a great job, and it is kind of a bummer that it didn't make its way onto the show. It shows parts of the characters that we don't really get to see otherwise. Grand Maester Pycelle is one character that kind of gets swept under the rug, but he does play an important role to the Lannister house. He is a member of the Small Council and has served as a spy for Cersei. Unfortunately, he died moments before the destruction of the Sept of Baelor as planned by Qyburn. Pycelle was a wise man who knew a lot about history, science, and medicine. Sandor Clegane embraces humanity. Sandor Clegane has had one of the roughest lives out of all of the characters in the Song of Ice and Fire. The development of the character throughout the television series is very dramatic and fun to watch. At first, he is generally seen as an evil character due to his sworn allegiances to House Lannister and personal bodyguard to Joffrey Baratheon. We start to see him embrace humanity when he begins to build a relationship while Sansa Stark is imprisoned in Season 2. In this deleted scene, you can see it was a little bit of a shaky start. Tyrion ends up breaking things up on behalf of his betrothed, but gives us another layer of foreshadowing of what is to come. Most of you may know that Sandor Clegane is brother to Sir Gregor Clegane, better known as the Mountain That Rides. He is a massive man and is the most feared man in Westeros. Sandor has burn marks on his face, all thanks to his older brother. Poor Sandor was playing with one of his brother's toys when he was just a child and upset Gregor. Instead of using his words, Gregor put Sandor's face in the fire and punished him. To this day, Sandor is still afraid of fire. Missandei and Grey Worm. We have come to see that there is love in the air between Queen Daenerys' handmaiden and advisor Missandei and Grey Worm, the commander of the Unsullied. In this deleted scene from Season 5, we see an extended clip between the two after the Unsullied soldier named White Rat was killed in Meereen. This is one of the first times we see a glimpse at the romance that will blossom between the two of them. She tells him what might happen if the Sons of the Harpee do decide to attack. He almost did not listen to Missandei and almost got himself killed. Luckily, Sir Barristan Selmy stepped in to save the day and sacrificed himself. Even in his old age, Sir Barristan was a great swordsman and fought valiantly. Grey Worm and the Unsullied are without a doubt some of the best combatants in Westeros. It is always cool to see them go to battle with their usage of spear and shield. Daenerys acquired them from the Maesters of Astapor after putting them to the sword. They swore their allegiance to the Mother of Dragons and have played and will play a great role in her quest for the Iron Throne. Robb Stark, King in the North. It seems like an eternity ago that the young wolf Robb Stark and his mother, Catelyn Stark, were taken out at the Red Wedding. It happened in Season 3, and the series is now on number 7. A lot has happened since then. Robb Stark was a great character, and Richard Madden did a fine job portraying him on the television series. The scene is an extended version of the final cut released for the show. Robb's now tactical and battle-worn character really shines through in this moment. Despite his age, Robb was notorious for never having lost a battle, earning him the title the Young Wolf. He commanded great respect and was declared the king in the north during the War of the Five Kings. The Red Wedding was one of the most gruesome and tragic events of the Game of Thrones series so far. The Starks have endured some of the worst hardships out of all of the families in Westeros. In the end, though, hopefully they will come out on top. It is safe to say that they are many people's favorite house, and if any other terrible things happen to them, it will be saddening. Daenerys, news of Jorah Mormont. The Mother of Dragons has stolen a lot of our hearts as the best character in Game of Thrones for many reasons. She's beautiful, she can ride dragons, and she is fearless. Sometimes, though, it would be nice to see a little more emotion from Emilia Clarke. The scene we are going to look at is right after she figured out that Ser Jorah Mormont used to be a spy. In the scene, she is standing next to Missandei, Dany's handmaiden and trusted advisor. Daenerys says to Missandei very calmly and without looking at her, "Never betray me." It's obvious that Dany is very upset over learning of Ser Jorah's former motives. However, some acknowledgement from Missandei would have been nice instead of her staying silent. It is probably one of the reasons they decided to cut it from the show altogether. Unfortunately for Ser Jorah, he is exiled, and to make matters worse, he has come down with grayscale. It is a dreadful and most times fatal disease. People afflicted by the disease are often called stone men, due to the fact that it makes the skin hard and dead. Such an ill fate for the man from Bear Island. Good thing Samwell Tarly was there to fix him right up. Well, what did you think of this compilation? Have you watched any of these deleted scenes before? This season of Game of Thrones is sure to be another crazy one, and there will be even more deleted scenes to watch. The answer to the movie emoji we showed you in the beginning of the video is, well, did you get it right? Be sure and let us know in the comments below and check out our playlist. Thanks for watching.